Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Wait for this music off. Hi, welcome. This is all new. So I'm not sure how this is gonna go. All right, I see Tracy and Megan are joining me in the studio. You guys all mute your mics. And then I see Lily and Effie. Hello, welcome. Nice to see you up early, Effie, from Germany. Lily, I'm not sure where you're coming in from, and I don't even know if this is I can't even figure out if there's like a chat function for texts. Let's see, I'm gonna try and invite in. I've got you in here. So I'm not sure how this works, but okay, what's this? Hi. Oh, Lily, thank you. Thank you for saying hi. Are you a regular on Fireside? Hopefully you know how this works. Oh, there was a clap. Oh, I see. There's like chat and oh, fabulous. Okay. Hi. All right. Okay. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Thank you guys for being here for my first, see, there's a request. Hey, Lily. Oh, you want to come on the stage? Yeah, hang on a sec. I'm going to just try and get situated here first. So yeah, I want to, I guess, just kick it off and say thank you to everybody who's coming live and also for everybody watching the replay. I'm super excited about this. Oh, hello, Mikey's here too. Fabulous. So, for anybody who is not, let me see if I can, oh, there we go. Now I can see bigger. So for anybody who's not familiar with me, if this is your first time coming to know me, I'm Nicole Holland and I host a podcast. I started back in 2016, March 2016. We launched, it's the Rockstar Show. It was right after the Business Building Rock Summit event we started doing in 2015. We continued in 2016 and 2017. It was an annual event where we brought together folks who were experts in the fields of marketing in different areas to help business owners and entrepreneurs create more abundance in their lives, make their lives easier in their business, and get to learn a lot of things without having to invest gads of money and time and all that. So, that's where I started when I came into the online space and the virtual event space. And since then, there's been a lot of iterations, and where things are at now is I had taken a break from doing the podcast, The Nicole Holland Show, and I've spent the last couple of years really exploring what matters most and how can I best leverage technology and resources to share my mission with the world, because I am on a big mission and I'm not alone, but it's really difficult to make progress when everybody is doing things separately. And so now there's this incredible platform that has been created called Fireside, and it is very much in alignment with the vision that I've had for the technology. And so I'm really, really excited to be here as a creator and to welcome you as guests and also potential creators here on the Fireside app as well. Excuse me. So the way the Nicole Holland Show is evolving now is that I have a lot of things to share. I have things to share with folks still in business, but also more about just general in life. We're living in a time that people are heavy. We feel very stressed. And this is normal. We feel very checked out and like we just can't take any more, right? And so the way people are behaving now is concerning. And so I wanted to create an open forum for people to come together in one way. So I've got a whole lot of things we're going to be doing here, leveraging Fireside, very exciting, and building a community of growth seekers. So with this particular segment I'm calling What's Your Problem? It's an opportunity to do live coaching with folks who would just love to get a little bit of a different perspective on something that they're struggling with. And so I'm planning on doing this segment at least once a week. It'll really depend on you, depend on what is turning your crank, what you're really excited and interested about. On Wednesday, I'm going to be sharing some friends who are makers just before Thanksgiving, and they create things. Well, I'm not going to get too much into who they are and everything right now, but what I'm going to talk about before I share them is how everybody can self-source from what you already have access to build more wealth and abundance in your life. And when I say wealth, it's not necessarily, the light's going out. That's not necessarily always money related, right? So there's money, but there's also wealth in other areas. And if you're not familiar with me, I'm very holistic in nature. I look at things as a whole rather than compartmentalized. Now we do that, right? As a strategist, when we have something to overcome, when we have a challenge, then we can get very granular and go micro into that, to solve. And then we can zoom out to the macro level where we can see everything holistically. And that's just how I operate. And so whether we're talking about family, whether we're talking about, business, whether we're talking about health, whatever we're talking about, there is the micro perspective and then there's the broader perspective. And so what I love to do is share broader perspective wisdom to help folks to self-source and self-coach and figure out what really is the answer for you, because every single person is different and there's nobody else who's going to be able to say, hey, Jane, this is how you do it, right? If you want success, this is how to get it. Well, people do that all the time. It's ineffective because if Jane doesn't feel that what success is the same thing as the person telling her what success is, she will not have success. And so it's really, really, really important that we as human beings really get to understand how to use our own emotional guidance system so that we can receive feedback and we can receive information and we can learn and we can absorb without having it take us off track. Oftentimes, when we are learning from others, we feel like we have a lot to learn. We feel like we don't have the knowledge, the skills, the resources, the whatever to execute. And so that somebody else knows better than us. And while there are people with more experience and talents and skills and all of that, it is the application of knowledge, the application of skills into our individual lives that makes the difference. And so nobody can apply knowledge to your life but you. And so that's what I'm really excited to get into, especially on this segment of What's Your Problem, and really in everything that I do. I love having conversations. I love growth seekers. I love hearing from you and getting your questions. And so I'm so excited that some of my friends decided to join me here today, live, to come into the hot seat, so to speak, in the studio. And we're going to get going with that in just a moment. And then after, if there's time, if there's people here who want to do this, then I'm happy to welcome more folks onto the stage. And again, I'm going to do this regularly as much as you want it. I'll be happy to provide it. And the way things are looking right now, and everything is always changing, but the way things look right now, 2 p.m. Eastern, I'm on the East Coast at this time. I do travel all the time. I live nomadically, which is a lot of fun, which is why you're going to often see me here in the driver's seat because it's just the most convenient and comfortable place for me where I can control, for the most part, the noise in the environment. I no longer have a studio. I no longer have a sticks and bricks dwelling, at least not at this moment. And so you're going to potentially see me in lots of different environments, but often right here in the driver's seat. And so 2 p.m. Eastern is right now a really good time for me. And that's when I'm going to, that's when I intend to do the majority of the show. So with that, let's see if I can pop back over here. And yes, I see Tracy and Mikey and Megan are all here. Hello, Valerie, Samantha, welcome. Great to see you. And again, Effie, yay. I love this. I love I can see like the people who are in the studio with me. I'm going to grab a tissue and let's get going. So, I'm going to ask Tracy to come on first. Tracy is my partner, and we've been the best of friends for 15 years. And so she's used to my weird conversation. She's used to me going really deep and talking about really weird stuff. So Tracy, let's start with you if you're brave and want to come on camera and unmute your audio. We'll figure out, we don't have a plan of what Tracy's going to ask. So once I see you, hello.
Hello, I'm here, but I don't see the camera part. Yeah.
Let's see if I can do something. Invite to video.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yay! Hello!
Hello. Hello, everyone.
So, Tracy, I guess the way to start this off, and I'm hoping that Mikey and Megan have questions. Mikey and I had a great conversation yesterday where we left it with him having a question, and I said, oh, ask me tomorrow. And I don't know if he remembers the question or not, but whether that or something else, Mikey, I'm excited to have you here in just a moment, and Megan as well. But Tracy, I wonder if there's anything on your mind or anything going on right now that's been causing you pause that you'd like to get clearer on, or any topic that you'd like to riff on or like me to riff on to get started.
I mean, it's sorted now, but you know that there's a lot of things going on in my life right now. I don't really want to talk about all of them on the air.
Just one thing, just one little thing. And that's the thing too is, folks, if you are going to come into the hot seat, do understand that this is public. So the best questions when you pose them to me are general. So I don't want to go too into details, because that's number one, not helpful for somebody to share their personal details publicly. That's just like, that just causes some feelings that are not necessary for the process. But also because, Tracy, when you ask me a question that's on your mind, there's a good chance it's something that can be applied. It's applicable to somebody else, right? So that's what I'm really looking for when I'm doing this live coaching. Of course, if anybody wants to get private coaching, that's another story, and we can get into details and stuff. For the fireside community, for the Nicole Holland show, I'd rather just stay as general as possible, and then we can go into, if we need more information, if I need more information, or I want to clarify something, I'll ask follow-up questions to get to the heart of the matter, if that's cool.
Okay. First, I like that you're in the driver's seat. I think for coaching, I think that's the best place to broadcast from, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. I guess my question would be, is it ever too late to kind of get your shit together? Can I say that? I don't know. To get your stuff together and like I'm in my 50s now, and things happened in my younger life that I wasn't as prepared as when I look around. My peers seem to be. Everybody seems to have their shit together except for me, and I want to know if it's ever too late to do that. It must not be, but it seems like awful lot of work to start when you're this far down the road.
Perfect. So thank you for that question. I'm going to ask you to mute your mic, and I'm going to speak into that a bit. And if we need to go in a different direction, we can definitely do that. But what I want to start with is, first of all, I can see just in the room, for the few people that I do know, you're not alone here. And while you may be in your 50s, it doesn't really matter what age we're at. Everybody feels the same. Everybody. And no matter how far along, no matter how successful, I've been interviewing folks, very high achievers, for years. And I can tell you, of the hundreds and hundreds of extremely successful business leaders and celebrities that I have spoken with, there's nobody who feels like they've got it all figured out. That's a perception that we put upon other people from the outside, looking at the outside. But internally, we all have the exact same feelings. They manifest differently. They come up for different reasons. But as humans, we all have the same emotions. And so that's number one. But to answer the question, is it too late? It's never too late. And I was just having this conversation with Valerie a couple of nights ago, that every moment of every day is an opportunity for a new beginning and a new ending, for lack of a better term, because we are constantly an ever-evolving iteration of self. And so when we come into this world, we're coming in from the ethers. We're coming in as spirit into a human body, right? We are born, we come into the world as physical beings, as human beings. But we are all not simply flesh and bones. We have something more, right? That's called, I'll refer to as a spiritual nature, right? We are all human and we are all spirit, and we holistically act as one being as we move through life, as we walk through the earth. And this is the same for the animals. So you are, Tracy, you have dogs. You've always had dogs, and all of your dogs have personality. All of your dogs have their own characteristics, and they are canine beings, and they are spiritual beings as well. And so when the spirit leaves the body, right, then you are left with a carcass. And also, knowing you as I do, you have a lot of experience with carcasses, and something that you have personally always been drawn to. And granted, your family, you come from a family of trappers, you have this in your lineage, but it's your individual being that finds beauty in the body. And so when you have many times throughout your life seen a bird or a raccoon or a deer or some animal that has been killed on the side of the road or somewhere else, you have found ways to see beauty in that. Whereas other people look at that and see disgust, or they see fear, or they see any number of things, but you somehow see beauty. And so you will take a dead animal, we'll call it a dead animal, the carcass, right? It's the physical remains of the animal body, and you will clean it, and you will prepare it, and you will make something beautiful out of it, because you are an artist, you are a creator. And so this is one way that you create, by taking something that had life force, which we can refer to as spirit, that no longer has life force, and you bring new life to it by turning it into something of art. And so, I'd love to have you come join us on Wednesday, when we're going to be talking more about that kind of stuff, the creative things that we can make from things that are available to us at any given time. But, you know, just for folks who are not familiar with you, you have created all kinds of things, from like glowing lamp skulls, you know, with like from different animals that you've found, and you do a lot of really neat things. And so back to the point is that all beings are part physical and part spiritual. And so when there is physical life left, it is never too late to do anything. And there is never more to do than you're able to do. And there will never be everything done in your lifetime, because we are we're physically focused for a period of time that has a beginning and has an ending. But we are spiritually focused forever. And so this is why, people will feel very resonant with others. This is why things get passed down, right? Just because somebody in your family was a trapper in the past doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a trapper, but perhaps you learned skills or saw things early in your life that stayed with you and were more spiritually aligned than physically. And so when you get into your creative mode, or when you feel called to something, when you see a dead raccoon on the side of the road and you go to clean it up, and you see that it's in good shape and that it could be salvaged and repurposed, for lack of a better term, you have that skill set somewhere that's, I'm at a loss for words right now, but it's not that necessarily somebody taught you, here's how to do X, Y, Z, but you had been exposed to the idea of taking a dead animal and turning it into something beautiful, whereas most people haven't, frankly, right? But you have. And so that's the spirit of universal consciousness that you access in order to do those things. Is that too deep? I mean, like, you're my gauge here to, and friends, while you're in here too, you can definitely, Lily showed me that you can make comments. So like thumbs up, thumbs down. If you're ever like, oh, can you go further into this, or that's too esoteric or whatever, I want to get that feedback so I can give you guys the best possible answers. Was that helpful, Tracy?
It makes me sound a little bit like a weirdo collecting dead things off the side of the street.
But the beautiful thing is that that's the beautiful thing. And thank you for being vulnerable and being here and allowing me to go here with you, because this is one thing that really bothers me, is that we're living in a society where people are constantly looking outwards and judging. They're constantly looking and saying, oh, that person is wrong. That person is different. That person is bad. And that is bullshit. And that is how we stay in a dysfunctional society, dysfunctional relationships, dysfunctional anything, right? When we accept and appreciate, then everything is possible. And so I appreciate your vision. I appreciate your creativity. I appreciate, hey, Mark, welcome to the show. I appreciate your ability to see something that, and you've taught me so much over the years. I've learned so much from you, because I've always been very, very sensitive. And so in the past, to see a dead animal on the side of the road I'd have a physiological reaction, right? Like, it really hurt my heart. I would be very upset as I would be driving. It really caused me problems. But the more I learned from you about how you see the world and what you see differently, the more I could appreciate the beauty in it. So now if I see, roadkill, it doesn't bother me anymore the way it used to, because I've been gifted the ability, the opportunity to see through your eyes, which is for me, one of the reasons to bring people together, and one of the things I love about Fireside and I love about this kind of platform where we can come together and appreciate each other for our differences and learn from each other and understand each other, because the more open we are to how we view the world, the less rigid and less blinders we have on, the more abundance we enjoy. And the more abundance we enjoy, the more abundance we spread. And who doesn't want to live in a world where people are actually happy? You know? So in this space on my show, we don't do judging. We don't do depreciating. We do appreciating. And so thank you for being vulnerable and letting me point out all the magnificent ways, not even close to the start of magnificent ways that I appreciate you.
I think a lot of that judgment has to do with death as well, right? Like everybody's afraid of death. And as you know, I'm not. You're not either, as far as I know. But yeah, that's, when people are afraid of something, then they want to steer clear of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at the time, and so we could literally talk forever as we do normally, but I'd love to bring on Megan, and see if Megan has something she wants to ask or chat about. And if not, we can have Mikey come into the hot seat. Why don't both of you guys turn your video on, Mikey and Megan, and then it's easier to see who wants to talk first. And if you want to talk, just unmute your mic. Let's see if I have to invite you or not. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Megan, do you have something?
Well, I think you had messaged me about a post that I had made on Instagram that kind of sparked our conversation. Can you hear me?
About a what? Sorry, I missed that.
Just the short conversation that you and I had about anytime I'm in a social interaction, the next couple of days, I am done. I'm depressed. I'm in bed. And I've always been an introvert. But I think part of it is just this year has been one of just the hardest, but very good in my life. There's been a lot of ends of awful things, but good things, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But I think we had briefly chatted about that. But I'd love to hear kind of your insight that you have. And I am introverted and I love that about myself, but I'm a small business owner. I can't be in bed for 2 days after a Friendsgiving event. That just isn't, that's not possible, I think, for most people. So, yeah, I'd love to hear your insight.
Sure. Thank you for asking. And also I'll say to all of you on the video and anybody who comes into the video in the future, if you want to turn your video off, I don't want you to feel like you're forced to have your video on, but if you'd like to have your video on, it's awesome to see your smiley faces. It feels so much more like what I've been looking for, to be able to talk with you and not at you. So thank you for being here. So Megan, I think number one, that you are aware of how amazing it is to be an introvert is excellent. And the way I look at this introversion versus extroversion is that oftentimes people who are introverts are told, oh, you've got to expand yourself. You've got to get extroverted. You've got to get out there. You've got to talk to people. You've got to. And frankly, anytime that there's a lot of you gottas, it's all fear, it's all judgment, it's all other people looking externally because they're not willing to look internally. Introverts tend to be more in their heads, be more in their hearts, be more in their minds, and are constantly told they're wrong for doing that. And so the first thing is I want to say bravo for appreciating your own natural guidance system to go within. Something that can definitely take its toll on folks when we are in a state of upheaval or challenge, or when something is needing to come to the end, is the more we talk about it, and Mikey, you and I kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday, the more we give attention to that which is unwanted, the more unwanted we experience. So for example, if after an event you feel depleted, after engaging with family, the holidays coming up, this is something a lot of people have problems around the holidays because they feel obligated. In fact, you're not the only one, Mikey. I'm just realizing there's other people here I've also had recent conversations with about this topic as well. When we are in environments or surrounding ourselves with people who we love and who behave differently than we do in life and have expectations of us, we have been conditioned to perform since the time we were born, right? We come into the world, there are parents, and the parents want something from us, whether it's to help soothe them, to let them know you did good, you're okay, babies cry and new parents go, oh my gosh, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? And they're always thinking like, what do I do? What do I do? Rather than just going, all is well. Let's just be. Right. And so when we come in, we are constantly taught right away, action, 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 right? And we are based upon what we do, other people react to us. And that teaches us patterns of behavior, right? And so, for example, as you're a toddler and you're running around, once you've got your feet under you and you can, run around and touch things and, then you're told, don't put your finger in that electrical outlet. Don't put your finger on that hot stove. Don't touch something you're not supposed to. And so then it's constantly like monitoring. Don't, right? Not, here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. If we come into the world in a place where people are ushering us into saying, here's what you can do. Here's what you can be. Here's what you can have here. More, all that you want. Here's a safe playground, basically, right? To where they are taking care of the conditions to create conditions that they feel safe about you being in. Then you have an experience of abundance and wonder, and you get to explore and be who you are naturally. You are naturally, as a human being, creative energy. You want to learn, right? We are tactile. We touch, we see, we taste, we experience, and we grow from that. And so when we're given opportunities to say, here you go, everything's possible, here are the possibilities, have fun, explore, play, it's pleasing. But that's not how people are raised generally. We are raised being told what is not possible, what is not okay, what is bad, what is not wanted. And so here we are, little babies in the world, no filters, learning and going, ooh, I want to touch. Ooh, I want to experience. Ooh, I want to explore, and being told don't. And so through that, we learn that those people who are responsible for us are keeping us safe. Overall, we know that, of course, we touch the stove, it hurts. We hurt ourselves, and the people who are responsible for us say, see, I told you so. Don't do that. Listen to me. I know best. The more you do for yourself, the more you're going to learn what's wrong. But I don't want you to learn what's wrong. I want to tell you what's wrong, because you don't need to have a painful experience, because I've already had it. So I'm going to protect you and keep you from having a painful experience. So here's how to behave in the world, right? That's essentially what's going on, very simplified. And so we go, okay, I did learn not to do that. I trust you. So I'm going to listen. I'm going to abide. I'm going to follow your directions. Now, not everybody has people when they come into the world who are all that concerned about them, right? Some people come into the world with people, parents, surroundings that really don't look out for them. And those people still do the same things. They still touch, they still feel, they still experience, and they learn. They learn, don't want to do that again. Don't want to do that again. Don't want to do that again. Well, those people become very resilient because they are self-sourcing their information. They are learning from their own personal experiences what feels good and what does not feel good. And at the end of the day, that's all there is. There's the feeling good or the wanted, and then there's the absence of that, the unwanted, the not feeling good. And when you look at things from those two perspectives, it's either wanted or unwanted. It's very easy to navigate. You want to have an experience, right? You want to be able to say, this is something I enjoy and I want to do more of the enjoying. And you want to be able to say, this is something I do not enjoy. So I don't want to do more of that. But we are conditioned over our lifetimes to put beside our personal guidance system. And so when we as introverts say, okay, I really just want to be alone. I really just want to feel. I really just want to be in my head. I really just want to, tune out. I want to tune into the TV or my brain or my art or my garden or whatever it is. Other people in our lives who are very well-meaning and love us and want to guide us will say, but do this. But that's not good for you. Don't stay in bed. That's not good. You've got to get out and you've got to be with people. And your internal guidance is going, no, done that. Been with people, didn't feel good. Okay for a little while, need a break. And then other people are going to say, you don't need a break. Come on, suck it up. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have so much fun. And then you go and you're like, it is. I'm having so much fun in the moment. And afterwards, you're going to go, right? Exhaustion or illness or whatever. And you're going to feel like, I knew it, right? Shouldn't have done that. And so then that gets us into that unwanted. Now we're focusing on shouldn't have done it, didn't want it, knew it better, still went, felt fun, not worth it, and so on. And that keeps us in that space of wanting to follow our own guidance, which is fine. The problem lies in when we start talking about it. The power lies in when we start talking about it. And so the power can be problematic or it can be empowering and good. So if when we're feeling shitty, we go, okay, I'm feeling shitty. I'm going to tune out, turn off, power down, and recharge like a battery, right? Because it's depleted. Then we tend to not need that long to recharge and to be good, back to balance and ready to do whatever we're going to do. But oftentimes we don't give ourselves that recharge time. Instead, we talk about it. Oh, I've got to do this. Well, I got to go on social media. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not feeling well, but I'm doing it anyways. I'm not feeling well, but I'm doing it anyways. I'm not feeling well, but I'm doing it anyways. Guess what? You're going to keep not feeling well and you're going to keep doing it anyways. And you're going to feel like shit and it's going to be exhausting and it's going to become a pattern because you're allowing yourself to externally take external feedback about how to live your life. When if you focus inward and you get quiet and you feel I got to recharge and you just recharge, you'll be ready to face the next whatever it is, right? It will take less time. And so my recommendation is that when you feel out of balance, when you feel less than great, you go within and ask yourself, what would feel better right now? Is there something I could do right now? And do is not necessarily the best word, but what would feel good to me right now? I started doing this years ago for myself day to day, because you wake up on autopilot, you get into habits, you get into patterns, you get into the routines, right? And so we stop thinking, we just do. We do on autopilot. And so to interrupt that and check in with yourself, it's really helpful when you wake up to do things that feel good. A lot of people like to say, all right, my morning routine, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do gratitude, I'm going to do this. So we know there's lots of things that you can put into place as routines. The problem there, the danger there, is not checking in and making sure that the routines that we're doing still serve us every day. But if you're feeling funky at any point in any day, and I like to do this in the morning, regardless if I'm feeling funky or not, and this is how I stay out of funk when I stay out of funk, is asking myself, how would I love to feel today? And it's always going to be for good, because I never want to feel bad. I always want to feel good. So I'm not coming from a place of how do I feel better or how can I do better? It's starting the day fresh. How would I love to feel today? And then sometimes I'll come up with words like powerful or gentle or easy or happy or whatever, right? But that's the set point then. It's like, okay, great, this is how I'm going to feel today. And so you take that with you, that feeling that you desire, you take that with you into your day. And then anything that occurs, you have more power in attracting things that are in alignment with the feeling that you desire. And so when you see something that is normally not something you desire, for example, going back to the conversation with Tracy, you see some dead animal on the side of the road, it won't bother you as much because you've decided, I want to feel happy today. And so when you look at something, like you become aware of something you did not want, but it's in your awareness now, you are more prone to be able to see the beauty in it or the ease in it than if you don't set your vibrational set point, your emotional set point, your desired set point in the morning. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else or complete or helpful? Like, I feel like there's something more. Okay.
No, that was really good. Thank you. It's a lot to like think on now. So I'm excited to like chat about it with my partner, just because she knows me so well, and kind of hear, she's just like my sounding board. So I think that'll be really good. And I really enjoy like the idea of like setting, how do I want to feel today? I have
So I'm
started
going to
doing
encourage
something
you.
very similar to that.
I'm going
What
to
was that?
encourage you to be careful with what you share with her and to be very
Hmm.
intentional about the outcome you want before you start the conversation. Because oftentimes when we feel empowered, whether, we're doing something on our own or in next to our partner or a friend or a child or our parent or whatever, and we think we have the same experience, we don't, because everybody is so unique. Everybody's own
Hmm.
guidance system, their own framework, their own life experience is so unique. So the danger in talking about things with our loved ones is that I'm at a loss for the words right now. The danger in talking with our loved ones or others about how we're feeling is we need to first know how we feel. And so I would encourage you to get very clear on the desired outcome. So when you go to approach your partner, before you approach your partner, you've already decided, okay, I got the information or I received information about this particular thing that I'm working on. This is the outcome that I want. This information could be applicable in this way to help me get what I want. You do your work first, right? Then once you're clear on what you want, then sharing with a partner or a friend or a parent or a child can be very useful. But when you go into an interaction with another human being where you are going and saying something to the effect of, hey, here's what I've been wanting. I got this information. What do you think? Now you're giving your power away still. So you're repeating the cycle of not self-regulating. You're asking somebody else who knows you well, what do you do with it? How should you feel about it? And etc. So please, if there's anything you take away from this, I want you to take away that you have to set the tone for you first. When you feel good, when you feel strong, when you feel empowered, then go talk about that. But if you feel depleted, if you feel exhausted, if you feel tired, if you feel ill, don't talk to anybody. Stay in the bed. Stay under the covers. Stay out of the social media camera. Stay out of the conversations and let your partner know, because I believe you live together, let your partner know, I'd like to take some time for myself. I had a foster child that I used to tell her all the time, because it's really important that we are modeling the behavior that we want to see in those around us as well. And I had a foster child who, she was 7 when she first came to me. And so most of my kids were teenagers, but this one was little. And I used to tell her all the time, because she did not have good examples about how to self-regulate. And she was used to being physically restrained, and she was used to being contained in ways that were not ideal. And so when she came to me, I had to teach her a new way of doing life, which was, you need to take responsibility for your feelings and self-regulate. And the way that I could do that the fastest was to show her. So when she would have a meltdown and she couldn't be verbally redirected, oh, I hope I'm still here. I'm seeing poor quality network. Oh no, did I lose you guys? Okay, good. All right. I think I lost my Wi-Fi. Hopefully the data holds up. Okay, so when she couldn't be verbally redirected, I would say, all right, listen up. I'm going to my room. I am going to take 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it was. And I had a digital clock for her. And I said, when the clock reaches 1115, then it's okay. I'm going to come out and we can engage. But right now, I'm feeling upset. I'm feeling hurt. I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling, using words. And so I'm going to take a break. It's not about you. It's about me. And so this is the essence of how we can interact with people, to show them, tell them, and remind them constantly, I'm responsible for my own joy. I'm responsible for my behaviors. I'm responsible for my set point. You can't make me angry. It's my attention towards that which is unwanted that I am perceiving you to be, or you to be showing me, that is causing me pain. My perception, my attention, my awareness on something I don't want. So I have to go within. I have to take a break. I have to remove myself from the situation. And the more I can articulate that, and the more I can share, it's not you. It's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. I am going to take some time for myself, and then we are going to re-engage. And that's all that needed to happen. And after a while, it became it was so cute. She would say something like, I'm so mad. I need to take 5 minutes. It's like, oh, thank God. Right? Go take 5 minutes, girl. And so when we can do that and we can demonstrate, we can show, okay, I'm responsible for my feelings. I'm responsible for my actions. And then we can go calm down, come back. Then we have the opportunity to share from a place where we are 100% responsible. If you haven't read the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, he's wonderful, dear friend, love him so much. And he's written a book called The Big Leap that I think would be very helpful, Megan, for you, and really is helpful for anybody who, and actually Tracy, you as well. And you mentioned, I'm 50, I'm in my 50s. The Big Leap is a great book I recommend for anybody who has aspirations to grow in their lives and wants to be more of who they are. It's a fantastic book, and I think that may also provide some good guidance. Mikey, did you want to ask away? We've got we're at 48 minutes, and hello, Stephanie, and anybody else who's joined. Samantha, okay, I see some people left, some people joined. Thank you for everyone for being here live, and also everybody who's catching the replay. Mikey, what you got for me?
So I love so much of what's been said already. It's like it touched on kind of what our conversation was yesterday, and a lot of that. I guess this might be kind of like a change in direction, but it also I think it ties in a little bit. So from our business perspective, we have our little business, and me and my partner, and she works, I work, and our business is at kind of like a turning point, a tipping point, to where it probably needs a little more time and attention to take it to the next level. And I I say I have ADD, and other people say I have ADD. I've never been diagnosed as ADD, but I do. My attention is it's spread very thin, and so I get hyper focused on one thing, and right now, because I don't have a ton of time, it seems to be exacerbated, where I can't prioritize my time, or I even struggle to see what the organization what's necessary to kind of take that next step. And with that, I feel compelled to take this next step towards spending more time. Maybe I'm finishing school, and all these other things. I guess the roundabout. The question is, if I have all these things distracting me, but I feel like they're necessary to complete school, for instance. I'm loathing school, and it's hard for me to give even my full-time job the attention it needs, because I feel compelled to spend more time on our business because it's my passion. I feel spiritually driven towards this thing. But I also feel like it would be kind of giving up on something I've worked hard on. I guess what would be a good way to focus in and prioritize the time to complete these things that I've already kind of promised myself I would do, but also work towards taking this next step and feeling comfortable about kind of jumping in on it, if that makes sense. I don't know if there was more than one question in there.
Yeah, I'll take it from there, and if we need to clarify further, we can. Okay. So the first thing is, I recommend that you get a paper and a pen, and you start writing down all of the things that, let's call it open loops, meaning that you've started something and it's taken energy, and you may or may not be actively working on it, but it's been open, it's been started, and it hasn't been brought to completion, right? So if you think about a circle, and you've started, like we talked about a circle yesterday of life, right? So if you start where the birth, right? Because whether it's a project, an idea, school, whatever, there's always a beginning and always an ending, right? In anything in our human existence, there's always this continuum. There's always this beginning and end, 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 right? And so anything that you have started but have not brought to completion, and that is your judgment, nobody else's judgment. This is your guidance system, what completion is, right? There's people who will tell you, oh, you maybe tell you that. People told me, my dad used to tell me all the time, you never want to complete anything, you never want to finish anything. But And I used to listen to that and believe him, but it didn't feel good, because what I have since learned is that for me, my guidance system, I'm somebody who is very curious, and I love to learn, much like you do, about things that light me up, that get me excited. And I will dive deep in. I will go fast. I will go hard. I will go deep. In poker, we call this grinder. Like, I am a grinder, right? Like, I'm not somebody, and running, when I was growing up, like, I was a great sprinter. Terrible distance runner. Terrible. To this day, I don't understand how. I have no desire to do a marathon. Like, I love seeing the exuberance and the excitement on people who are like marathon runners. And I'm like, fuck that shit. That is so not me. Good on you. Like, good for you. I'm excited for you. But I don't do the distance. And it's something that when I was younger, people, my father, for example, and others would reflect to me, you're not good enough. That's wrong. That's bad, because you don't complete what you begin. But what I've come to figure out for myself is that I get to a place where I'm complete, even if the people who determine what means complete think it's incomplete. I get to a place of completion. And so if, for example, you have determined that you want to get your degree, you're going to school, you're going to get your degree, then that is the result you want from the actions that you're taking that started the thing, right? So if you look at, talk about priorities and things, if you look at things where you have started something and you haven't yet completed, and then you basically rank the things of, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being 100%. And you look at each thing on its own, and you allow yourself to feel into it. This means not listening to distractions. So there's the intentions, the things that you have chosen to do that are still open loops. I don't see those as distractions. I see the distractions as anything other than the things you want to do, right? So if you write down a list of all the open loops, all the things you've started and haven't yet finished, right? Then you can systematically go through one at a time and explore. On this subject of school, for example, where am I? Do I feel like it's important to bring it to completion or do I feel it's important to receive a degree to bring it to completion? Or do I feel something else will bring it to completion, right? Do I feel, and so with the business or with anything that is a constant evolving and a long-term thing, right? With school, you have set things. You know that if you execute A, B, C, D, E, F, you're going to get the outcome that's promised to you, like a degree. Whereas with your business, it's ever evolving. So there you want to look at what are the results? What are the things that we want to experience? And then you can break it down from there. Like, this is a big topic, and we can definitely go into this privately separate. But when you're looking at all of the things and you're feeling overwhelmed with all of the things to do, break them down. So list them out, then break them down. Check in and say, okay, for this particular thing, what does completion look like to me? And then how important is it for me to get to completion? And then how soon is it important for me to get to completion? And so when you break the things down, so you have a big list of like all the things, and then you kind of go, it's like I think of it like a funnel this way, right? So it's like wide, and then your next list is going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller until you get to something where it's like, yes, this is what I want to do right now. And you can do this. it sounds very big, but when you get into the habit of creating the system, you can do it in moments, right? So this goes back to what we're talking about with Megan, where at the beginning of the day, how do I want to feel today? This is how I want to feel. I know how I want to feel. So that's the set point. That's the expectation. And so I plan to feel that way. Anything that is different from that means it's just information for me to come back to center and go, I am not feeling how I decided I want to feel today. What do I want right now? How do I want to experience that right now? Right? And then I get to choose, forget it. I kind of feel like feeling bad now. Something happened and I don't want to get over it. I want to get angry, or I want to get sad, or I want to get whatever. But I get to be in control of that, right? Or something happens and I go, well, no, I decided I wanted to feel productive today, and I'm not going to let this derail my productivity. No, thank you. I'm going to go look over here where I'm feeling productive, right? I don't need to look at the things that are distractions. I don't need, there's nothing. Also, just like I was talking about with the kid, right? You get to control your experience. And so it's really taking that time out and saying to yourself, what's a priority for me? Do I want to keep going through the day, through the experience, feeling all and frazzled? Or do I want to take a moment to figure out what I want? And this is something, when you get into the habit, it doesn't matter what it is, you will get less and less and less and less distracted by circumstances, because you know how to constantly reset where you're at any given time. You know how to come back to center, back to balance, right? And it's not something that happens overnight for most people. It can. I mean, literally, we can have an awareness of something. Somebody presents us with information that triggers us to think something. And that reminds us, right? That thought reminds us of something we already know. And when we have those awarenesses, taking the breath, taking the moment, taking the time to appreciate the awareness and not go, now I know, now I gotta go, right? You stay on the Energizer Bunny route and you're going to keep on keeping on, and there's distractions all over the place and you can't stay, and then just like the ADD but all you have to do to stop that is literally just stop it. Just go, okay? Because your mind's going to go, and people are going to go, and all you have to do is just learn how to go, no matter what's happening externally, come back to asking yourself, how do I want to feel right now? Okay, I know how I want to feel. Now what? Now what? What's important to me right now? And the priorities can change throughout the day. Is this helpful at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's that is definitely my MO is the brr. And I have,
that's most people's MO.
It's what's that?
That's what we're taught to do. We are taught that. That is how we are raised as human beings. No matter what, there's always expectations from others. There's always things that are going to be pushed down. And we're in a society right now where there's no escaping it for the most part, unless we figure out how to self-source, unless we learn it's okay to put the phone down and turn it off. And there's no emergency that is so big that we should be, running on autopilot for something or someone else. We are the most important thing in our lives. If you do not have sense of your own well-being and control of your own life, if you do not feel free, you cannot thrive. You cannot thrive. It is a constant battle, right? And so your most important thing for you to do in your life experience is figure out how to be in control of your life experience. And the way you can be in control of your life experience is by understanding how to be in control of your emotions. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yes. It's that's when I get that feeling, that the good feeling is when I do feel very like I'm moving towards this thing that I want from, and I have a little more uh, equity, I guess, in my life, when I feel like I'm considering myself. And yeah, so that's how I, when I do feel good, I feel like I'm in that vein. But yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
I'm so happy to have had this conversation with all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I was really nervous to come on. I was really nervous to do this, but it is literally the thing that lights me up. I mean, it's already just after 3. I could sit here all day, every day and do this. The more people want to have conversation, the more I'm here for it. So, my intention is to do a daily show. I'm not committing to that, but that's my intention, to come on daily at 2 and open the stage. You know, this first episode, thank you to those of you who I don't know yet, and this is your first time learning of me. Please come back if you feel so inclined and inspired. Thank you to my friends for being here to help me through this challenge and give us some food for thought to start with. But yeah, this is, if you want to be in the hot seat, then I'm going to have, my website is still under construction, but I'm going to have a form eventually for how to be a guest. If you want to apply to be in the hot seat, definitely, go ahead and do that. And otherwise, I think what I'll do in the future is maybe have 1 or 2 people scheduled to be in the hot seat to kick it off. And then anybody in the studio audience can hop on. I think we'll try that for next time, is 1 person. So that way, because it's like, oh, it's 3:05 and, we're filled. So thank you to everybody who's come and everybody who's caught the replay. And, I'd love to continue the conversation. So that's another thing I'm going to be putting on the website, is ways to continue the conversation on any of the topics that we do discuss on the show. And then I'm also going to put a form for folks to get notified. So I've never been a huge fan of email lists, just because I don't like receiving emails about whatever somebody else wants to tell me about whenever they want to tell me about it. So I've resisted that for much of my career, doing email marketing. But what I do want to do is have a community of people who I understand. And so I'm putting together a form where you can come and let me know what you're interested in, what your vision is, what your dreams are, what your goals are. And we'll have conversations around that. And I'll bring in resources and experts and content to support your individual growth. Because I believe that if somebody is willing to take the step in saying, hi, I'd like support, why wouldn't I want to support them, right? So yes, everybody that's here, everybody on the replay, if there's anything that you feel like, I want to grow in this direction, right? I want to be empowered to be able to self-source and to be able to use what I know and expand what I know to help myself. I'm here for that. And definitely let me know. We live in a world right now that, the way I see things, our society is very much in the victim triangle. There's the villain, there's the victim, and there's the savior. And I don't live there. I'm not the savior. I've played that role in the past. I'm not the savior. I'm not the victim. I've played that role in the past, but I'm certainly not the victim. And I'm not the villain. I've played that role in the past, and that's not who I am. And so who I am is someone who believes that everything and everyone is possible. And my mission in life is to eradicate poverty, to help elevate consciousness so that every single human being in the world understands how to get their needs met on their own through their own guidance system and knowing how to find the resources and accept the resources. A lot of times we're conditioned to not accept help when we need it because we believe whatever stories we believe. And so there's lots of different ways that we can be resourceful and we can get creative and we can get our needs met. And those are the conversations that I am really, really, really fired up to have and to experience with you. So this is a two-way street. I love that Fireside has been created to be able to be a collaborative platform where we're in communication, and it's not a one-way broadcast. And so that is really how I see the world and life in general. So the more you want to share with me about what you're looking for, don't ever come to me expecting I'm going to give you a handout, because I just don't do that. But if you want a hand up, that's what I'm here for. So definitely be in touch. Let me know what you're looking for, how I can support you, and or not necessarily how I can personally support you, but how you would like to be supported, what matters to you. And we're going to make some magic together over the next days and weeks and months and years and lifetime. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys all for being here.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole.